I recently did a live where I looked at where all the men have gone, right? And this was in response to a question that I saw really on TikTok, where I came across this whole side of TikTok where women were basically complaining about the fact that they had a very hard time finding men to connect with, men that might actually be, potential boyfriends and then eventual husbands, whatever. Like, they're just not connecting with real men.
Whenever I see these videos on TikTok and proceed to check out the comments, you always see guys saying they simply just go to work, work out, play video games, and sleep. While the number of men who've checked out of the dating game is still the minority, it's a number that's growing every day because men are getting sick and tired of the drama that comes with relationships. And truth be told, a lot of women are also feeling the same. So what are we going to do about it? What needs to happen for men and women to get back on the same page? If you've been on this side of YouTube for any amount of time, you already know that women are frustrated when it comes to finding the type of man they want. But with things going the way they are, I can't really see things changing anytime soon.
And so, after having conversations and really having had the opportunity to talk with countless men, some who are married, some who are single by choice, I have to say there are a few things that I have noticed, especially now with today's dating market. One, there are men who are just checked out, completely checked out of the dating market. Different reasons for this. Some believe that they're just not really going to be getting a good deal. I think today's dating market is highly confusing because you have on one end a lot of women who want to be independent, who really want to be, have their own agency, make their own decisions, do their own thing, and really live a modern way. But then at the same time, many of those same women still demand traditional roles from men, as in men wanting men to pay for them, wanting men to take them out on dates and foot all of the bill, preferring men to do all those different things, romance them as if they were a more traditional housewife.
I mean, the state of the dating world is a mess right now, and the only people who seem to be getting what they want are those men who are in the top percentile of desirable men. With women earning more and more money as time goes on, there are a lot of guys who are being pushed out of the dating game because they're just not desirable. And for the guys who are left, it's quite a confusing time. Should they open the door for a woman, or is she independent enough to open it herself? Should they pay for dinner, or are women making more than enough to cover their own expenses? What a lot of guys are feeling these days is that while women want the benefits that come with making it on their own and being self-sufficient, in a lot of cases, they still want men to provide security for them, while keeping whatever money they make to themselves. For a growing number of men out there, entering the dating game is like walking into a casino where the chance of you losing your money and everything you've built up over the years is 100%.
Type. And so you have men who just feel like it's just confusing. It's confusing to know how to approach, and one end you want to be equal, but then at another end, you want me to cater to you like you're not equal. You want me to pay all these things as if I'm to take care of you. And so it's a very confusing dating dynamic. And there are men out there who are just like, I want nothing to do with it. And so there's that. You have other men who are just grabbing their passports. They're just like, they want a woman who's more traditional. They want a woman who is maybe coming from a culture from very early on. They are taught to be wives, or taught to value being a wife. They're taught to value family. And it's just harder to come across that, in America.
Yeah, the whole thing about dating these days is inconsistent, and increasingly, men are unsure about how they should even move in the world. Just before reacting to this video, I was watching MTR, who was reacting to a video by Kendra G that she actually deleted because the backlash was too much. Anyway, in that video, the guy was basically talking about how he was assaulted by his partner, and during the whole talk, he was pretty much interrogated and mocked because of it. I only mention this because men are always being told to open up about their struggles and all that, but when they do, this is the kind of reception they're met with. If you want to check this video out for yourself, I'll leave the link in the description because it's more than worth your time.
And then you have, like I said, other guys also who feel like just engaging in a relationship with a woman today, or with a modern woman, is akin to chaos. And that they would prefer to go to the gym. They prefer to go to the gym, maybe play video games, work out, work.
This is exactly what I said at the start of this video, so it's pretty funny that she also pointed this out. She's probably noticed these same comments showing up over and over again too. Dating and marriage is a big risk these days, and if it goes wrong, the woman you welcomed into your life can blow it up in ways you never imagined. There are men out there who've lost pretty much everything in a divorce, and men out there who are raising kids that aren't even theirs, and they have no clue. While these situations may not be super common, I think they happen more than enough to make men take pause when it comes to building a life with a woman, because there's not a lot of protection for them if it all goes left.
You know what I mean? They keep like a pretty small circle, and again, they've also disengaged because they're just they see relationships as connected to chaos. And so these are a few things that I've had a chance to just overhear from men who are just for whatever reason not in the dating market. And then there's also men out there who would like to be in the dating market but are fully aware that they just don't have the money that they think necessary to be able to offer what women would like. I mean, I've talked to men in college who are pursuing higher education who seem like, good, healthy, attractive men. They're, on a good career trajectory, but they are fully aware that women, even in their age, are wanting them to provide some form of financial stability or take them on these nice, lavish dates, and they just don't have it because they're in college.
At the end of the day, men are pretty simple, and while we're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, we're pretty easygoing when it comes to the things we need or want from a long-term relationship. We don't need women who are making Jeff Bezos money or have the perfect body, despite what the mainstream media will tell you. But women, on the other hand, just like she mentioned in this clip, are looking for the world from a guy. And the reality is, most men just aren't making money like that. And the ones who are, have all the choice in the world when it comes to dating. And because of their options, they usually don't feel the need to settle down with one woman. And when they do take that big step, what are the chances that they're going to be loyal? What happened to the days when people would grow together, instead of women simply just wanting to meet the man of their dreams when they're already at the finish line?
I mean, again, these are things that I have heard. And of course, this isn't every situation, everything, but these are just common reoccurring things. I will say, as a woman, I definitely challenge ladies today to really think about the expectations they themselves have held on to with respect to dating and relationships, because there are so many different messages that have been promoted to us over the years, particularly Black women, that I think just really are not healthy and really don't lead to the long-lasting results that we want.
The thing is, the biological makeup of men and women is what drives us to behave the way we do, so the desires that women have for a mate are deeply ingrained into every fiber of their being. While things might seem extreme in the modern-day context, it would have been the women who were able to secure the best man that would have been most likely to survive. We forget that the earth isn't a pleasant place to live. It's only because of technology and what we've been able to accomplish over thousands of years that we're able to live in comfort. And even then, this isn't true for the whole world. Anyway, I say all that to say that it'd be very hard for women to change or train themselves to desire something different in a partner if they have these obscene standards. And we've seen plenty of times before that these sort of women would rather just be alone if they can't get exactly what they want. The world is a very different place from what it used to be, but that doesn't matter to our biology. Our biology is a long way from catching up to our modern way of living, so you shouldn't expect that to change anytime soon.
And also, I think one major thing that can be a big hindrance and can be really unhelpful for people, ladies, finding good, genuine love is putting these really unrealistic financial and unrealistic social standards on men. And what I mean is, if you believe, okay, this man has to be making at least 6 figures, or he has to have this particular degree, or this, and that may not actually be what you need. Because some ladies who have these standards may actually be the same woman who say, oh, they want a God-fearing man. And what if God sends you a God-fearing man? Maybe he's not making 6 figures. Maybe he's making 5 figures right now. Maybe he'll make 6 figures later on. You're right. Maybe he has a vision. Maybe he has a plan that'll bring him to that point. But for today, maybe he's not there. But he may be exactly what you need.
The standards that some of these women have for the type of men they want will have them living a life of solitude if they're unable to change their way of thinking. And if they do find a man who has all the desirable traits they want, they have to be ready and willing to accept whatever comes along with that. The guy's likely to be someone who works a lot. He's much more likely to bang other chicks because he's got a ton of options, and she just might not be a priority. When I've seen these points told to a lot of these women who come onto these red pill dating podcasts, they refuse to want to deal with any of those things, which just shows how disconnected they are from the reality of being with a guy who has the world at his fingertips. The reality is, people can live perfectly happy lives making an average living. Maybe you won't be able to enjoy all of the luxuries of the world, but unfortunately, not everyone can. And there are some women out there who have to make good with that. You can't have your head in the clouds forever, waiting for some super rich guy to sweep you off your feet and give you everything you've ever dreamed of.
But I think sometimes there can be these unrealistic standards or these expectations of what we think we need to be in a really happy, satisfying relationship. And it has nothing to do with what God really has for us. So especially if you're a woman who says you want a God-fearing man, I would highly recommend you actually ask God what he has for you and what he wants, because you might be surprised to find that his list is different than your list. And even if it looks different, it'll be better than what you could have come up on your own. But a lot of these standards and a lot of these things that some ladies are holding on to actually could be keeping them from their husband. And then, like I said, if you have men out there who've gotten to the point where they simply feel like they're being treated like an ATM, or that they're just on a rotation, or that they're just continuing getting women who are quote unquote dinner whores, right? Like women who are just trying to find guys to take them out on dates or pay for their, pay for them because they don't have the money to take themselves on nice restaurants themselves. Like, so those guys are going to check out. So, I just think there's something really valuable as women about just allowing God to tell you actually who you need to be, and then allowing him to take you on that journey to being that woman. And I think more women who are willing to embrace that and go on that journey may actually find it easier for them to connect with the men, or really the man that has been for them, because all you need is one. Really, that's all you need.
The future of the dating world is looking pretty bleak right now, and you can really feel it when you read through the comments section on videos like this. I mean, you have men saying things like,
relationships have become liabilities and dangerous for men. That's why I think they're avoiding them.
As long as they continuously get outside attention from social media, none of this will change.
I've seen too many uncles have their lives destroyed in divorce court. I'd have to be a giant fool to risk it.
For a long time, comments like this were ignored, and whenever they were given attention in the mainstream world, they were mocked. But over time, it's really started to have an effect on how people get together. And while this kind of thinking was rare, or just not spoken about in the past, we're seeing more and more people express their views. And not only are they expressing their views, they're taking action, even if that action is to withdraw from dating completely, which in the end isn't going to benefit anybody.